Is divorce life-changing for you? Has it completely turned your world upside down? And are you not really sure where you're heading? Well, today's video, I'm going to discuss the 5 things that shook my world about divorce and a longer list of things that changed for the better. So if you like that, stick around to the end because you're going to like all the different changes that happened in my life and, more importantly, can happen in yours. But before we talk about that anymore, if you're stuck, you're not sure how to get out, and you're looking for a faster change to get back to the man you once were, or even better, back to the man you've always wanted to be, check out the 7-day course below. The 7-day divorce challenge will give you tools to reset and get you back on your feet, back to that place you've always wanted to be, back to that man you always have been. All right, so divorce, it turns everything upside down. It can give you no hope. It can make you feel alone. It can question everything that's happened before, during, and going forward. So here's 5 things real quick about why divorce was the worst for me. Number 1, my whole world crumbled. Everything around me seemed to suddenly change. The house was empty. Didn't have any plans anymore. Friends, family, etc., etc. It all had changed overnight in a flash. Now the warning signs were there, but we often don't hear the warning signs as men until it actually happens. That's probably why a high percentage, I believe 90% divorces are filed by women, because we don't hear the signs. We don't understand the communication. And more importantly, even if we do, we think we can fix it. Number 2, friendship split. Hey, look, I know I talked about this before, but that one really shook me. Not having people to lean back on, or the people that you used to lean back on not being there anymore, man, that's a hard one. So I hope you have friends that are still in your corner and 100% there if you're going through divorce. Number 3, conflict. Conflict with family was rough for me. And now I'd say there's the perception of conflict, and then there's real conflict. Conflict can be real with family, and sometimes it can be just they're asking questions. And for me, being all alone or feeling all alone and getting a bunch of questions from family definitely felt like conflict. And it was hard for me to deal with at first. But ultimately, it was all about just wanting to help and wanting to understand. So if you're having conflict with family, maybe reframe it, refocus it, and see it as their way of helping, not as an attack. Number 4, nothing I could do could fix any of it. I had been so used to being able to just work harder or try harder or, I guess never give up. And that didn't matter in this case. And for a lot of men that I work with, that's the case too. They are in a place where there's nothing they can do. Their soon-to-be ex-wife has made up her mind. She's not going to change it. A lot of times too, you'll see that the women will move on quicker because they have been debating this process for a very long time. It's been with them, not in the immediate reality that it has been for us. So what could be a month or 2 for us could be several years for them. So just be mindful of the fact that if you can't fix it and you still think you can, well, just try to understand that she may be feeling this pain for a lot longer than you even realize. And lastly, number 5, all of it was completely out of my control. And you probably gathered that from 1 through 4 today, but not having control of anything in some sense, or feeling the lack of control in anything, put me in a position of just really not sure which direction I was headed. And that was a really hard space. So maybe you're feeling all of those, or maybe you're feeling some of them, or maybe you're feeling none of them. But the most important thing here is that it's real. It happens. If you're feeling some of these, if you're feeling none of these, I don't know why you're watching this, but maybe just for entertainment value or the beautiful trees that are around. But if you're feeling some of these, look, I feel your pain. And what's coming is something bigger and something better than you've ever experienced in your life. The first step is believing that's the case, believing the possibility of it. Don't even try to commit 100% yet. Just believe in the possibility that life going forward and ahead is going to be so much better than it was before. And let me give you a list of reasons why. So since divorce, I've had an amazing experience in life. I feel like I'm finally living life for the first time. And here's a list of why. Number one, and probably most importantly here, a big driving faction or reason behind why there's been so much change is that it caused me to get help. So for most men, they point the finger when they hear about therapy. Oh, you need help, not me. Why don't you go? I'm just fine. And I'll be honest, that was me. I didn't think I needed help. And often is the case that I find the men that I work with, the ones that are pointing the finger, need it the most. So the most important thing here, the most amazing part of this process is that I seeked and found help. And it was the best thing for me. Number two, I learned to grieve for the first time. So as men, we're often taught, actually as little boys, we're often taught that men don't cry, that it's not manly, that you shouldn't cry at all. Because that's not what we do. That's what girls do. And we're not little babies. These may be things you heard. And if that's the case, well, that's not true either. Some of the strongest men I've worked with, I've met, I've seen, I admire, they have the ability and they do cry. They cry and they grieve pain and loss. Feeling emotions is actually being aware of the emotions you're feeling. It's one of the most manly things you can do. Number three, it's kind of coincides with number one, forced me to get help. Let's go into therapy. I guess that's a little bit clearer to say. Going to therapy was incredibly powerful for me. Now, most men don't want to go, and I don't know if most men need to, but I'd had some experiences from living overseas, working in the military, and just growing up in a household that was very loving and caring, but I interpreted it in ways that didn't feel that. So therapy for me was an avenue to explore those places and those realms and those thought processes that were holding me back. Maybe that could be the same for you. Next up, number four, I started going to yoga. Now, what in the world could yoga and divorce have together? Well, I will throw this out there. I'll say a lot. Yoga and divorce is a powerful thing. Yoga teaches you more about yourself than you would ever know, that you could ever consider. It's the process of knowing yourself through yourself. Now, that's pretty deep, and you'll have to go to some yoga classes, probably a bunch of them, to figure that one out. But yoga was one of the greatest gifts of divorce. Not only be about meeting myself, and getting to know myself better, but also meeting fantastic people Also typically on a grieving process as well, trying to get to know themselves better through the process of yoga. It can be a real healing community. Number 5, it got me going back to the gym. Now, my theory is this: men, we need to do hard things. We need to lift things, we need to move things, we need to fix things, we need to build things. Sometimes we need to break things. We need to be certainly mindful of how we do all that, and especially how it impacts others. But going to the gym was an opportunity to reconnect with myself, build confidence and strength, and do ultimately the things that bring me joy. So maybe that's the case with you as well. Number 6, it got me to take adventures again. You know, often in marriage, we get locked into a place of commitment with other couples, commitments with our partner, commitments to everything and anything else but ourselves. And the great powerful thing about divorce is we get all this opportunity and free time to explore ourselves, to explore what we used to enjoy doing, seeing, feeling, and even thinking. So yeah, get to the gym, guys. Do hard things. Go on big adventures. You gotta do that. And so adventures were how this all kind of started for me. It all started with going on a big adventure and a hike. And when I got to the top of Half Dome, my whole world had changed. I had found the reason to move forward. I found a joy that I had forgotten, a connection to the outdoors and nature that's just unparalleled. And I think you'll find the same once you start going on big adventures. It doesn't mean that you have to go on a hike up Half Dome. It doesn't mean you have to go on a hike at all. Adventure could be trying out a new restaurant, trying out a coffee shop, driving across country, whatever adventure means to you. You know, I'm just trying to encourage you to go have some adventures. Next up, it got me to reconnect with the outdoors, and we kind of mentioned that too, but hiking in the outdoors is a place of groundingness for me. There's just something about the smell, in this case, of a redwood, birds chirping, the crickets as a nightfall comes, the cooling of the temperature, just something special about it. And so maybe it's not the same for you, but I encourage you to get out and experience nature, because there's just something special about that, right? I mean, how incredible is this tree? Look at how big this thing is. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. But if that's the case, that's fine too. Next up was kind of in line with yoga, which was learning how to meditate. So on this channel, we talk a lot about breath work. We talk about how controlling our breath, the first gift we're given, and the last thing that we have in this life, is a door that opens up really your power. So breath work was the same thing for me. It taught me more about myself. It scared me at times, and it gave me an understanding of how I reacted, and fearful and excited and anxious in all kinds of different opportunities and environments. And the more that you're able to control your breath through those spaces, the more that you're able to alter your reaction in those states. So breath work, yoga, and divorce is an amazing thing, and I highly suggest it. After meditation, I found real friends in these new spaces that I was adventuring in, that I was exploring, the restaurants that I would go by myself. I met the greatest people, the most interesting people of my life. And it was incredible in ways that I would never have thought of, never imagined, and up until that point would have never done. So be open to the fact that as you explore and start to adventure, your whole world would change with new people and places. Talking about the outdoors, we got a gaggle of turkeys crossing the road up here. Maybe we'll get close enough to them. You guys can see them too. Actually, here we go. Can you see that? Got the last one's crossing the road, and that's someone's, looks like a park ranger's cabin, so we're gonna stay away from that. All right, so after finding real friends, or new friends, because the old friends were great friends too, it's just that they, they found themselves in a precarious situation. And so when that happens, sometimes you gotta pick sides. And no hard feelings, like it's just something you gotta do. So real friends are out there. If you've lost friends in divorce, maybe your friends stuck around, and that's great too. But just know that like the world isn't over because some friends, dear friends, leave. And know that there's always the ability to meet new friends out there. The more that you explore and adventure yourself, the more that you find yourself, the more that you'll find friends along the way. Friends that you've always wished you had. So after friends, number 10 on the list here was that divorce helped me quit drinking. And for a weird reason, it helped me quit drinking because it made me realize how much it didn't serve me. How much it wasn't me drinking for me, it was me drinking for other people. And how much, even at times, drinking was to try to numb the pain. And for the first time in my life, I wanted to actually feel that pain instead of numb it. So maybe that's the case for you, maybe it's not, but for me it was a pretty amazing thing, a pretty amazing feat. Next up, number 11, was it helped me discover parts of myself I never knew existed. So maybe I didn't necessarily not know they didn't exist. It was that I just wasn't connected to them. Connected to them as an understanding of like what my values were. And the more that I spent time doing yoga, breath work, meditation, I started to realize more of what my values were, was important to me, kind of like getting out in these environments. And so, yeah, maybe that will be the case for you too. Maybe you'll discover things about you that you never really knew. It's a really powerful place. Number 12, I started taking solo trips and loving it. Now this is kind of in the adventure zone, but cruising down to SoCal, even just going camping again by myself was just an amazing experience. And so getting up to Tahoe after wanting to get up there for years, waking up early morning, doing Half Dome, running up to Yosemite. I mean, Northern California is an amazing place, and it's unfortunate when you live here for so long and you don't go out and adventure. Thankfully, a lot of people do here in Northern California, but for me it wasn't the case. So divorce got me back to taking these solo trips, and it actually got me back to taking international trips by myself, and went to some amazing retreats that would have never imagined that I would have put myself into. So maybe that's the case for you. Maybe you're going to start adventuring again and taking solo trips. Maybe you're going to have the courage to do so. Maybe you're just going to start up again. Maybe it's not about courage at all. 13, it helped me set healthy boundaries. This was a powerful one because boundaries, well, without them, you don't really have a say in what happens and what doesn't happen. And you're kind of at the whim of everyone else. So learning how to set boundaries was an incredible experience. 14, realizing that everything comes back to communication. This was another wild one that was unexpected and very powerful, just like setting boundaries. When frustration arises in a lot of communication that meant happen, they don't realize that they're a contributing factor to that communication challenge. And, well, the more that you realize that it all goes back to communicating and that we listen to understand rather than respond, the more impactful and powerful that you become in this world. The more meaningful relationships you can have, and the door really opens up to a life that is not normally experienced by someone that doesn't realize that communication is really the path forward and how everything comes back to it. Lastly, I discovered how I actually like being alone. I like being with myself because it gives me the opportunity to check in, to regulate, and to learn more about myself, which is kind of what this whole process is about. It's all about self-discovery, getting to know yourself better, and how you can show up every day. Now, these 5 things that rocked my world in divorce and turned my world upside down, they may not be the 5 things that did the same to you. Or maybe you're not all that bothered by this anyways. And the 15 things that really changed my world around in divorce, maybe not be your 15 things either. The most important thing is that you're seeing the growth, you're seeing the change, and you're moving towards the man you've always wanted to be. But here's the thing, here's the catch about divorce. We have to realize that a part of us has to die. A part of us has to die for us to become the man that we always wanted to be. So, if you're going through divorce, I want you to ask yourself, what part of you needs to die for you to become the man you've always wanted to be?